In the morning sun where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you, just for you. In the morning sun where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Indoor greens and outdoor scenes, design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, plant.
could I look better?
Alright, we're live. Alright, hey guys, welcome to today's live.
Hello.
Sorry for keeping you there. Chris is now live on X and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. So if you are on one of those platforms, you can leave. This is a live Q&A session with Chris where Chris will answer your questions live. Anything related obviously to gardening, if you have any gardening questions. How are you feeling today, Chris?
Great, thanks. Yeah.
Great, and
Really
we're also live.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, and we're also live on TikTok, so you can probably see this camera on the other platforms here. This one is our TikTok camera. Happy to answer your questions as they roll in. Actually, we got one already from Facebook. Do you want to get stuck straight in?
Yeah,
Do you want to say
like,
anything before we get started?
No, look, if you've got a question, anything to do with gardening, how to get your gardening growing better, how to choose the right plant, how to solve any particular gardening problem, just ask me today, and I'll get through as many questions as I can and answer it in a way that's useful and helpful to you.
All right, beautiful. So we've got our first question here from Jeremy on Facebook there. It says, thinking of putting some star jasmine to climb up a side fence. It has limited sun. Will it still grow okay, or is there a more heartier climber you would recommend?
When you're lacking sunshine, most climbers love sun. They race up, climb up trees or climb up whatever and go to the top and get in the sun. And a lot of things like a potato vine or something like that will tend to leave you naked and bare at the bottom in the shade and be big and bushy up on the top on the sun. But I've got Chinese star jasmine growing on the south side of my house where the sun never shines, and it grows beautifully. We have to cut it back each year. So nothing grows better in the shade as a climber than Chinese star jasmine. So Chinese star jasmine is a great choice. Now the thing with growing Chinese star jasmine on a wall is you need something to grow it on. I often get my customers to use like a coarse wire frame, like a reinforcing wire frame. Now just a coarse wire frame, sort of like something, where the holes are like this sort of size. So a coarse wire frame, and then put some timber up against the wall or fence, and then put the wire frame to the outside. So, because if you put the wire right up against the fence, the Chinese star jasmine can't go in and out like that, the Chinese star jasmine needs something to climb on, and needs a support. And basically, if you put the wire on timber and let it go, and it'll go in and out, and it'll sort itself out. It'll grow and do the whole job itself, as long as you put the right sort of support there for it. And that's the whole trick to it. And then the other little trick is that what you'll find is it puts on a massive growth burst after the flowering finishes in midsummer, and long arms will come out, and you'll be tempted to cut them off. But until you've established a beautiful thick hedge, you don't cut them off. You buy little plant clips and you clip them back on like that. You clip them on so they're clipped onto the frame, and that way you'll cover your frame really quickly. If you don't trim until you've really covered your frame, just get them and keep clipping them back onto the wires, and particularly with that big growth you'll get in late summer or mid to late summer.
Perfect. All right, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question there, Jeremy. All right, next question here comes from AZ on TikTok, asking, what is the easiest flower to grow from a seed?
When I was a kid, we had a cockatoo. We threw the cockatoo rubbish out on the compost heap, and what would pop up would be the odd sunflower that the cocky hadn't eaten, and they would be. And I remember one time, a friend of ours said she wanted me to do her garden, and I said, "What's your budget?" And she said $20. And I worked away for a day. It was many years ago. I worked away for a day, and I dug a garden bed right around her front garden, and
And might be the plug. Here we go. Try and get our sound back there, guys. I think TikTok is fine, but the other platforms are struggling with the sound, so we'll just try and get a sound back there. Yeah, but it's coming through. We want it to come through this one here. That's all right. We'll just reset it. Maybe keep carrying on with your story there, but TikTok can hear us.
So when I'm given an absolutely impossible spot, say, up 14 floors on the roof of a building in Melbourne where they've got howling winds and heat and dry and everything like that, what I go for is I go for the old trio. But fabulous. One video we shot is where a guy who was in the crane business, crane one right up onto the roof of a very, very tall building out in Doncaster. So for the very toughest situation, a Triolo. For just a pretty tough situation, I'd go Ficus Co, or I'd go for an olive. And olives can be pruned into a round shape or into a multiple cloud prune or all sorts of things, and they have lots of character and lots of interest, and they'll last in a pot for many, many years. So both of those, all three of those ideas last you for years in a pot and get more interesting and develop more character as they get older.
That sounds really good, Chris. Actually, Peo did she did add an addition to make it less generalized, saying she wanted something to stay small. Would either of those choices be good for that?
Yes, both the Triolo keeps on growing and it's hard to trim, but your olive and your Ficus Co, you could keep them whatever height you wanted. They love a trim. So you just trim them to the shape and size that you want, and they're super duper hardy and easy to keep looking good year after year. And one of the things, when you're keeping a plant, most plants, when you keep them in pots year after year, sometimes they'll turn yellow and they won't even respond to a bit of fertilizer. What that is that calcium, or lime, as they call it in the gardening world, is water soluble. And when you buy fresh potting mix, it'll have adequate lime in it, but as you water it each day, you're washing the lime away. And so you'd find to keep something like a Ficus Co or an olive looking good in a pot, it need one good hefty dose of dolomite lime once a year, and keep that lime in there, and then you find your other fertilizers and your other stuff works real well when the plant's got plenty of lime. So year after year, keeping it small, lime and trimming.
Right, sounds beautiful. And just wanted to say thanks very much to all of our viewers here, letting us know when we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Obviously we are live, so there are many variables in getting this to happen across multiple platforms, but thank you very much. And we've got the sound going again there for everybody. All right, so let's move on to the next question. And this one again is from Azy again, just asking, should she be, or he or she be, tying up their strawberry plants at the moment?
Tying up the strawberry plants? Look, strawberry plants are flowering and just starting to fruit.
They need to be hanging, don't they?
And what you'd want is you want them hanging over the side of a pot so that the fruit's not rotting on the ground. So I guess a hanging basket or a nice big pot, and have the fruit growing and hanging over the side. And one of the tricks with strawberries is to buy one of those plastic saucers, or make a plastic saucer and sit your pot in about an inch of water, because they need lots of water as we get into the warm weather and they're producing lots of strawberries, and keep them well fertilized. And something like, I reckon I'd be using, they need lots of fertilizer pretty quick, something like Power Feed would be a great strawberry food to keep because it takes a lot of energy the way strawberries keep on pumping out the strawberries.
All right, perfect. All right, next question comes from Richie on Facebook, asking, how can we treat fungicides on peach and plum tree, which is spreading to the other closer trees?
Okay, I reckon, I'm suspecting that what you could have at the moment is a thing called curly leaf. Now, curly leaf are these funny sort of bubbles and things that you get, and basically the first fungicide ever discovered by humans was called Bordeaux mixture, and it was invented in the region of Bordeaux in France and sprayed over the grapes and fruit trees to prevent fungal problems. And Bordeaux mixture, I think, is copper and sulfate or something like that. You can look it up what it is, but it's a simple mix that you can make yourself. And that bubbly thing that you get at this time of year on your stone fruits is called curly leaf, and you spray for that in June, July and August. So if you spray June, July and August, then you won't and you spray with Bordeaux mixture, you won't have that problem in the springtime. But the problem is that when that problem exhibits itself in the springtime, you can spray as much as you like and you're not going to get rid of it. But there is an answer. If you haven't sprayed in the winter and you've found yourself with curly leaf, the answer is put on plenty of fertilizer, plenty of like Osmocote, Dynamic Lifter, whatever you got, plenty of fertilizer, plenty of water, and get them growing. And what they'll do is they'll grow out the new leaves the new shoots and new leaves generated now in the warm weather won't exhibit that problem. So basically, if it's curly leaf, which you can tell, you can Google curly leaf, it's got that funny bumpy look. If you've got curly leaf, make them healthy, make life wonderful, plenty of water, plenty of fertilizer, make it really wonderful for them, and they'll outgrow that curly leaf. And by Christmas or a little beyond, the curly leaf will be a thing of the past. And then next year, you spray in the winter with your Bordeaux mixture and you prevent that curly leaf next spring.
All right, cool. Thanks for that. Now, the next question, similar sort of question, but different plant. Could be a totally different disease, or it may not be a disease. Here from Nicholas asking, my golden cane palms have black spots and dry leaves, but I water them often. Any suggestions?
Right, okay. I wonder where you live. What golden cane palms do fabulously in Brisbane. And as you move south from Brisbane, they do worse and worse. And what I would recommend is, I just mentioned Power Feed before, a good liquid fertilizer like Power Feed, and get them in the hottest, sunniest spot you can. So get them out in the hot sun. They love the hot sun. They love Brisbane, for instance. And as you move south to Melbourne, if they're outdoors, they struggle more and more and more. I seldom recommend golden canes to my Melbourne customers, and they should only go in the very best, sunniest spot, and like in maybe a place like Brighton or something. It's a little bit warmer than the rest of Melbourne. And certainly once you go out on the north of Melbourne or the west, and you're putting them out in the open gardens, they're not a great choice.
All right, thanks very much. There you go, Nicholas. Hopefully that helps you. All right, moving over to Instagram now to answer some questions there. We got Lou says, my new place has a messy garden full of weeds. She has roses, blue iris, lilies, all in the same place. How does she remove weeds without damaging the flowers? And she says she'd pull out the weeds before, but it keeps coming back. So is there a way to do it without damaging the flowers?
Right, okay. Look, the thing is what I think you might need our free garden design service, but what I would do with that garden is I would look critically at everything, every single plant, and I'd say, what does this plant give to my garden? And it could be that you're preserving too many plants, and so when I do a garden design, I look at a garden, I say, look, this plant is a real asset because it has fabulous flowers, or beautiful shape, or there's some real good reason why it's good, or it's in exactly the right spot. And this plant is in the wrong spot, or it's in the wrong shape, or it's diseased, or it doesn't do anything that I like. And so that becomes a negative. And my starting point isn't just getting rid of a weed, but I'd be starting by eliminating the plants that aren't adding value to your garden and preserving the plants that are. And then a way of getting rid of weeds, like with perennial weeds, they have like stores of food and that under the ground, and you pull the top off and they just shoot back again. So if you've got garden plants, what you can do is you can get buy the Roundup concentrate, and then dilute it as per the instructions. Get a paintbrush and just dab it on. You can carefully dab it on to the actual weed rather than spraying. Dab it onto the actual weed, and you don't need to dab it all over the weed. You only need to perhaps stroke it over a quarter of the weed, and that weed is history. And it's a systemic spray, so it'll kill the bit that you didn't even put it on. So you can dab here and there, and then I'll often poison stuff before I get in and chop it out, because when you start chopping and digging and stuff, you actually can, if it's live and well, you can actually be multiplying it while you're chopping and digging. So you don't want to be multiplying your weeds. So what I would do to make it easier to sort the garden out, I would eliminate any plants that are kind of what I call negative. They're not good for the future. And in some garden designs I eliminate everything, because nothing's in the right place, nothing's the right plant, nothing's right for what we want to end up with. And I think to have a beautiful garden, like as a kid I worked for some really great gardeners, and they were, in eliminating plants, they were ferocious. And so you don't want to be protecting or looking after plants that should be eliminated. And then something like the dabbing of Roundup with a paintbrush is really great for getting rid of weeds in a tight spot. And I said, when you go do that, you have a pair of secateurs in your pocket, because when I'm doing that, I'll go quite close to the plant that I want. And if I accidentally touch a leaf or a branch of the plant that I want, I have it off in 2 seconds with the secateurs, and that way you're not poisoning anything that you like. So whenever I do that, it's secateurs in my pocket and it's a paintbrush in my other hand, and I'm dabbing the weeds, snipping off any of the bits that I accidentally touch, so that they're straight off. And I've accidentally sprayed or dabbled on quite large bits of good plants, whipped them off in a flash and never lost them. So secateurs in hand when you do that. Eliminate the plants that are not an asset, and dab the weeds with Roundup. So there you are.
All right, Lou, hopefully that helps you. And yeah, you can always book in for a free garden design with Chris. You can just do it through our website, and hopefully that helps with your weeding problem there. All right, so next question comes from Asma on Instagram asking, is the Cleveland pear good for a medium-sized backyard? How can we keep the size in check? Does it respond well to trimming, Cleveland pear?
The pears, like fruit trees, respond really, really well to trimming. But you could, there's a pear called a Korean, I think for medium-sized garden, there's a pear called a Korean Sunset, and it has a finer foliage, a much denser, tighter plant, and that would a little bit harder to get. We have a few of them here, but Korean Sunset, and that would be a pear that would stay a lot smaller and involve you in a lot less trimming. So in a medium backyard, I'd possibly look at a Korean Sunset, but you could get a Cleveland or a Capital or most of the other varieties of pears, and you could trim, and they love being trimmed, and you trim them in just after they finish blossoming in springtime. So you enjoy the blossom and then you trim them.
All right, beautiful. All right, so this next question comes from In Leah's World from TikTok. It says, hi Chris, any recommendations for a hedging plant along 6 metre long by 30 centimetre wide bed?
Okay, well it depends. Say if I was after a very, very short hedge, English box is in Victoria and Melbourne is one of the best hedges. Then if you're in a tougher area like say Shepparton or Bendigo or something like that, Green Rocket or Tom Thumb is really, really good for a low hedge. Then if you're after, in a narrow spot like that, if you're after a tall hedge, say you wanted a hedge at 1.5 or 1.8, I would use box leaf privet. Now box leaf privet, you can grow a 1.8 metre hedge in probably 18 months, and you can trim it and keep it 30 centimetres wide. And so it's a very easy, versatile kind of a hedge. So for tall, medium to tall, I would go box leaf privet. For medium to low, I would go Green Rocket, and for low, I'd do Tom Thumb or English box.
All right, beautiful. And what about like if they wanted a really super tall, can you get anything screening wise? Would that be conifers?
No, you're really not with a 30 centimetre wide
yeah,
bed.
it's too narrow, yeah. All right, good.
If you went, say, 50 centimetres wide, you then might look at Silver Sheen Pittosporum. That's quite a good tall narrow hedge, and there you could get up 2.5, 3 metres and have it 50 centimetres wide.
All right, perfect. There you go, In Leah's World. All right, moving over to Facebook here from Hi asking, hello, how are you? I want to buy 5 red roses. If you have a beautiful type, please let me know. Also, thank you so much. And then she says her family brought 7 roses from you. They are blooming beautifully now.
Great.
And then she said she's had trouble getting through, only having, it looks like a language barrier there with her having difficulty with her English.
Ah, right, okay. I'm going well, thank you for asking. And what I think is that Camp David is the best all-round red rose. Beautiful fragrance, beautiful red rose, lovely big flower, But what's great about Camp David is it seems to, some of your dark red roses seem to suck up all the diseases and problems and get all mouldy and weird and terrible. Your Camp David is easy to grow, almost as easy as an iceberg. So really, really tough, doesn't get too many diseases and problems, and very abundant with the flowers. So all round, that's probably my favourite red rose is Camp David.
All right, perfect. All right, question here from Annie Boca West on Instagram asking, hi Chris, any tips or resources to help with laying new garden beds? Mainly will be used for lily pillies or ficus along a fence line.
Okay, so laying it, lily pillies or ficus. So laying a new garden bed, the first thing is say that garden bed is currently covered with lawn or weeds. What I would do is I would mark out the garden bed, then I would spray it with Roundup to kill the grass or weeds. I'd leave it for 48 hours or a little bit more. So 48 hours, then I'd get my mower and I'd mow it with the bottom setting on the mower, so that I'm mowing like virtually down to the dirt. So I'd mow that strip right to the dirt at least 48 hours after I sprayed it with Roundup, and follow the instructions for spraying and get it right. So spray it with Roundup, mow it flat, and then I would dig it over, and I would dig it over one spade or shovel deep. And the way Italians or Greeks do it is they start at the start with their back towards the finish, and they dig down in straight lines like that, and they dig down a full shovel in depth. Now, if it's a bit hard, it's a good idea, don't make it wet and sloppy, but maybe moisten it, and moist soil is always much easier to dig than hard dry soil. So possibly moisten the soil to make it suitable for digging, and then dig down a full shovel depth. Get that shovel, turn it over and smash it with the back of the shovel. So dig, turn, smash. Then add a bit of new fresh soil. It might be a bit of compost, a bit of potting mix, or it could be some three-way mix from the soil yard. So add some new soil, dig, turn, smash it one more time. Then get a nice steel rake and rake it, and that kind of breaks up the pieces a little bit. Rake it over and smooth it out, and then start digging and planting. And then what a lot of people do is they'll mulch straight afterwards. I tend not to mulch straight afterwards. I'll plant my plants, and then you've killed all the perennial weeds, so you got rid of the bulk of the weeds with your Roundup. So what's left is annual weeds that are going to germinate, and a good sharp little wolf hoe. You can go along and you can hoe it all with a wolf hoe, and you hoe it all with a wolf hoe, and then you get it, and you might do that for a couple of months till the weeds stop coming, then put your mulch on, and then you've got a really nice garden bed that's set up, to really grow plants, and is fairly weed free and easy to look after.
All right, perfect. All right, next one here from Lee Happy. Can we ship to Brisbane?
Yeah, we do. Actually, I'm working on a quote for a big garden lot this morning, straight through to Brisbane. No problems in Brisbane at all. And we actually bring a lot of plants down from Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, and northern New South Wales. We bring them down to Melbourne, and say with the one that we're doing today, we'll be shipping direct from northern New South Wales into Brisbane. So yeah, we can look after you in Brisbane.
Perfect. And then Steffi SNL asks on Instagram, I'm in Geelong and want to book garden design services. What sort of in-store budget do I need to engage the services? I'm not sure if it's out of my price range or not. Okay,
look, what it is it depends. If you're doing just a big garden bed, or you're doing the front yard or courtyard or something like that, or even a reasonable sized backyard, we charge $50 deposit on the garden design, and then if you spent $250 on plants, you get that 50 back, so that your total spend is only $250, which is just your plant spend. And on the flip side, say you're doing your house front and back, say it was a new build, it was a house, just a normal house yard, front and back, we'll do a 40-minute consult. We charge $100 deposit, and then to get that $100 back, you'd have to spend a minimum of $500 and on the day, so you only pay an extra $400 and you get $500 worth of plants. And what a lot of lots and lots of people are on a budget. And so what a lot of people will do, and like this happened, I think I've done 20 garden designs over the weekend. Our weekends are very busy. I've done about 20 garden designs, and what a lot of young couples did is that the total budget for doing their whole garden front and back might have been say $1,600 or $1,800 or something like that. But what they did is they might have spent $300 or they might have spent $400 or $500, and they've just started on the first bit of their garden design. And it could be 12 months before they complete their garden design. But what it is, and I mean, one couple came in, and what they said, look, we can only afford, and we only want to do this little bit here at the front yard. And I said, look, I'm sorry, but I'm going to do the whole front yard, but you can just buy that little bit there today, but I said then at least that bit there is going to fit into the whole garden. So what I did was they were on a $50 design. I was really proud of my design. They were really happy with it. I designed their whole front garden instead of that little bit, because I would have been really frustrated if I did the little bit, because then I wouldn't maybe, I wouldn't be able to do the rest properly one day. And then they bought that little bit, and they're going to do that next weekend, and it could be 6 months, could be a year, but at least their whole garden is now working to a plan. So we've got a whole plan for the front garden, and they'll just buy little bits and pieces, and they were able to get the refund of their deposit by the bit that they purchased. And so you don't need, you need it. To get the free garden design, you need a $250 budget. So that's that, or if it's a bigger garden design, you need a $500 budget. So it's very much we're running a campaign at the moment, which is cost of gardening crisis solved, and we've got free delivery, and we do the free garden designs, and I'm doing 40 or 50 of those a week, and it's all and very often what happens is that I'll save people a lot of money on their front garden or their back garden just by doing that design. So it's not a way of spending more money. It can be a way of spending less money.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I was just going to say, like, you're probably saving a lot more money just by planning ahead and getting a proper plan in place, rather than just jumping straight into it, not really knowing what you're doing. And you've probably seen disasters in your time, haven't you, Chris? With
terrible disasters where people plant all the wrong type of plant or something like that, and very often I'll prevent big disasters, and it could be even to do with the concreting or the drainage. I'll spot other problems that they haven't seen, and then get them fixed before they plant.
Yep, so there you go, Steffi. Don't worry about, just get it booked in, and prevent you having a garden mishap and have a garden success.
And actually, I'd like to say one more thing about it, is that I remember reading a story about the world's greatest car designer, and they asked him how he felt about having to design the Volkswagen Golf, and he said, I'd rather design a Volkswagen Golf than a Maserati, because he said to make something really good with fewer resources requires greater skill. And so when somebody comes in here, like, big budgets, that's okay, we'll get big budgets in here, but when somebody comes in and they've got something that they really need at a tight budget, I see it as a challenge, and I love working to it. And we have such a big range of plants and so many different things that we can call on. I don't see a small budget as a problem. I see it as an exciting challenge. Well, I love to create something great with few resources.
Beautiful, there we go. All right, guys, and we are going to have to wrap this up very shortly, of course, as Chris is quite busy. But we do these lives every Monday. If your question didn't get answered, you can always join us every Monday at 12 p.m. We definitely endeavour to get to every single question, but of course we have many questions to get through today. We're probably just going to answer a couple of more here, and if we didn't get to your question today, again, we apologise, but you can always join us 12 p.m. or you can contact the store. You can call us, if you are in Victoria, you can call us on, or anywhere in Australia actually, on 039355 3331. Or you can head to our website, and we have a plethora of fantastic products on there which you can check out. Book in a garden design, the22guru.com.au or hellohelloplants.com.au will get you to our website. Alright, so we'll just answer a couple more questions and then we'll have to wrap it up. Okay, so actually just quickly circling, you might have already answered this, so let's make this a quick answer. Ruchi asked about the leaf curl. He had the problem with it spreading onto other plants. He just said, can we stop leaf curl to spread to other non-fruit trees? Yes. You might have already answered it though.
Yes, use the Bordeaux mixture and use it in the winter.
Fantastic. All right, great. All right, here's second last question here. My gardenia was thriving in a large pot in spring. I've had to cut it right back as the sun burnt it and went without water for too long. Will it live, and what else should I do?
Okay, I'd wait till I see a few leaves and buds, and as soon as you see some leaves or buds, and you can cut gardenias right back hard and they will shoot back again. So I'd wait till I saw some leaves and buds, and then I would keep it well watered. Then what I would do, the secret is, I've seen this bring back gardenias from the dead, is you buy Osmocote liquid fertilizer for acid loving plants and gardenias go berserk. So, but I wouldn't waste that until I saw a couple of leaves and shoots coming. So get some leaves and shoots, then once a week use a correctly mixed up dose of gardenia, of Osmocote acid, liquid fertilizer for acid loving plants, and fantastic for gardenias, but azaleas, anything like that. Really, really good stuff.
All right, fantastic. All right, this will have to be our last question here today, guys. This one here comes from Cletus. Says they live, this is on TikTok, I believe. Says living in South New South Wales, looking for a native hedging plant as tall as possible, 5 meters, and flowering would be good too.
Okay, have a look at Callistemon Slim. That'll do you 5 meters, and it won't spread out too much, and it'll stay dense. A lot of natives sort of go bald on the bottom, and you're looking through on the bottom. Callistemon Slim, and it's very, very dense foliage and dense flowering. Amazing show of flowers. You can Google and have a look at photos of it. Really lovely, and that would be the perfect hedge for you. And I'd plant them about 1.5 meters apart, water and fertilize them well, and you'll have a fabulous hedge in no time. Callistemon Slim. Let's do one more.
Perfect. All right, well, let's do one more here. We've got so many questions, it's impossible to get to them all in that time frame, but this one's a nice easy one. What lemon tree, this is from Tanya on TikTok, what lemon tree would you recommend for a pot?
Okay, I think that if you're south of the Divide, like so you're in Melbourne or anywhere south of the Divide, I'd use a Eureka lemon. A Eureka lemon's a wonderful lemon, not too thick a skin, plenty of juice, good strong lemony flavour, not too many thorns, vigorous, hardy, and fruits all year round once you get a nice established one. So you couldn't do better. Use a nice big pot and use plenty of fertiliser, Osmocote, plenty of fertiliser, a little bit of lime once a year, and you'll be in business.
All right, fantastic. And we're going to do one more here. Last question for today, and again, apologies if we didn't get to your questions, as we're on multiple platforms. As you can imagine, there are questions flying in left, right, and centre. But this one we're going to give to, I'm not sure how you say this, Il Professor, I believe, and this is on TikTok, asking how much would you typically get from one plant of San Marzano tomatoes?
Well, that's going to be very variable on how well you grow that plant. Like, it would make a big difference whether it was in a pot or in the garden. But I reckon that if you grew it in the garden, if you had that garden bed well worked up, if you had plenty of fertiliser, planted on time, I reckon you could get 6 or 7 kilos.
Amazing. All right, thanks so much, everyone. We do these lives every Monday at 12 p.m, so you can join us next week if you didn't get your question answered. And we look forward to seeing you again next Monday at 12 p.m. to answer all of your gardening questions. Alternatively, if you need an answer sooner, you can of course email us, sales@hellohelloplants.com.au, or you can go to the website hellohelloplants.com.au, or you can simply call us if you're in Australia, 03 9355 3331. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Thanks a lot. See you later.
In the morning sun where the flowers bloom, colors burst like a painter's dream come true. Roses red and violets blue, every petal whispers something new. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant. and outdoor scenes design your space, let your garden dreams glide. Personal touch with our garden design, free sessions to blend within your budget line. Alright. From tiny seeds to trees so grand, every leaf and bird, it's all at hand. Hello, hello plant, welcome to the show, where every flower tells a story. Watch them grow. Hello, hello plant, in every shade and hue, for every heart and every hand, we've got something for you. Now everybody, let's say hello, 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 hello.